All right, there you go. The far left threatening riots if they don't get their way. A progressive congresswoman making this threat if President Biden and Republicans dare cut a penny of spending during the debt ceiling negotiations.
I think there would be a huge backlash from our entire House Democratic, caucus, certainly the progressives, but also in the streets. I think that it's important that we don't take steps back from the very strong agenda that the president himself shepherded.
So if that kind of extreme rhetoric sounds familiar, it's because it is. Democrats also seem to resort to apparent threats anytime things get contentious. Remember Chuck Schumer warning the Supreme Court about abortion.
I want to tell you, Gorsuch, I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind and you will pay the price. You won't know what hit you if you go forward with these awful decisions.
They did. So why hasn't President Biden condemned his own party's crazy talk when he's always so quick to condemn Republicans for their, MAGA Republicans?
The MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. The extreme set of MAGA Republicans has chosen to go backwards, full of anger, violence, hate, and division. The MAGA Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They're a threat to our very democracy.
All right, so threats aplenty.
Oh, boy.
But, Dana, I think you could pick up what I've picked up if you're really as smart as I think you are. And that is
a test?
that the threat is really at Joe Biden and his team.
They're in a huge box because they underestimated Kevin McCarthy. They never came to the table. Now he's got a 60-40 issue, meaning that 60% of the country agrees with where the Republicans are. Yep. The Biden team has nowhere to go. And they keep saying things like, well, then use the 14th Amendment. That is actually not going to work. Then they'll threaten violence. Well, actually, that's not going to work either. The CNN poll last night said 60% of Americans want spending cuts with the debt ceiling. Biden is at a 60% disapproval overall and a 65% disapproval on the economy. The other thing is last night, Political Playbook had this piece about Democratic operatives. They're furious that the media is covering this the wrong way because they are not referring to Republicans as terrorists for pushing spending cuts. It's pretty hard to imagine that they are pushing this even though they know that these are not numbers that we made up. These are just the polling numbers. And it's interesting for Kevin McCarthy to be so underestimated again and again and how cohesive they are. They weren't even this cohesive during the Obama years when we last went through this. And remember what was on the table then? Sequestration that took money away from the Defense Department. That's not on the table now. And I think that because our adversaries are also watching very closely, for example, China, who is ready to tell all of the countries that we are competing for affections with that the United States is not a reliable partner. That is pressure that the president of the United States should heed, come to the table, get it done.
Jimmy, I'm just stunned that the president didn't look at the calendar. The G7 was important. Those two countries to go visit after, extremely important. He should have been saying, look, this is what I want. Well, what's possible? After all, he has wisdom because he's been doing this so long. He's got wisdom. So he should have seen this wall he's about to run into this wall. Why didn't he? And do you think that he has changed his stance in negotiations because of press conferences like that?
Well, I think what this speaks to is just how out of touch the people running this administration really are. And what I mean by that is when you're making the case for unlimited spending with $32 trillion in debt, you're doing it in a country where 70% of people are living paycheck to paycheck. The reason the CNN polling is reflective of people wanting a little belt tightening because that's their reality. And they know things don't get better for them if inflation goes up because of what they're doing in Washington. So that's where they didn't read the room properly. I don't necessarily attribute this to Biden because I think what they've done with him in terms of damage control is they're trotting him out there with one relentless message. The message is always MAGA. Ultra MAGA, mega MAGA, I can't believe it's not MAGA. And that's basically what he does, okay? Right. But let's quickly acknowledge that if any Republican said we will take to the streets, this is a full-on insurrection mode. Fences are going up. The Capitol Police are flooding every avenue in D.C. And that's the part that's so annoying to me, is that when there's a double standard when it comes to political violence, there's no standard. If a Republican drinks Hawaiian punch, they're like, oh, punch? That's code for violence.
Right.
I'm telling you, man.
That's so right.
Right. And by the way, it is really good, but not good for you, Hawaiian Punch. But tasty. That's what's true. It's not really. So
have to cut it with vodka.
So, Judge, the president and Kevin McCarthy in many ways won already. He wanted a clean debt ceiling raise. Nobody thinks he's getting it. It's getting back to 2022 spending. What's wrong with that? It's only last year. Oops, what's wrong with that is you put trillions into it in the meantime and repurposing pandemic spending.
Well, there's no question that Kevin McCarthy seems like the reasonable person here.
Yeah.
That's why Americans are supporting him. You know, you don't have to get into the weeds to understand this. You really don't. It's about not spending money that we don't have. Yeah. And so it's recognizing that, you know what, we don't need to keep making money, as AOC said. We can just print some more. And we've got to be able to support what we can support and forget about, carrying on with this incredible indebtedness that's going on. But the thing that concerns me is what I wrote down, dog whistle. Yeah. When Jayapal predicts backlash in the streets. Mm-hmm. You know, they say everything we do is a dog whistle. Well, to me, that's a dog whistle. Mm-hmm. And you're telling everybody on the left, if you don't get what you want, meanwhile, nobody knows what's in it and what's not in it. But all they know is they've gotten permission to go out there and to protest and riot. And, you know, maybe she ought to worry about her own area and her own constituents as opposed to just reacting with this, we're going to hit the streets again. Because you kind of hope like after 2020, it was over and it was never going to happen again. Well, it's not, because they're dividing us and they're signaling each other.
But it's very similar to the Danny Penny situation. Within a matter of moments, they're rioting the streets. I'm thinking, who wrote that check to get everybody out there? Geraldo, where's this heading right now? Do you think that intimidates the White House, that Hakeem Jeffries
Wait, did you just compare it to the Marine and the choking thing? It's not like that
well,
at
the
all.
riots, though.
No, there's no passion.
Well, you're going to tell me
there's no passion for a riot over this. This is, I think, the general sentiment
but it's just as synthetic.
But these are politicians doing what politicians do, just making life complicated. You know what this is about? This is about workfare versus welfare. And everybody wants people who receive welfare to do something, and there's been resistance to that from the left. I think it's 60% of Americans believe that if you get some benefit from the government, you should do something in return. And what they're suggesting is 20 hours of volunteer work if you're being supported in programs other than the usual Social Security and so forth. And that's not a big deal. And I think that it will pass. And I think it will pass because most Americans really do believe there should be some responsibility if you get a benefit. And I think that will be.
And we grew at 1.1%. That's nothing to high five about. And the president's got 33% approval rating on the economy, 38 overall. Yeah. This is really going to be a blow to it, but it'll help the country in the big picture. We almost had an argument. Thanks for backing off of the left. That's
well
good.
Done. You know I like it.
I know, absolutely.
Such restraint.
I know, it's amazing. On whose part?
His.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.